Today we have Nicole in a beautiful Eagle's Nest. What's this? Tea lounge?
Yes.
This is so cute.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
The Enchanted Garden is what they call
it. Yes. And Nikki's a yoga teacher here.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. And she's also a coach. And we're going to chit-chat today about some of the coaching things. And let's see if we can solve some problems and get to some new ideas.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah?
Yes.
You excited?
I'm very excited.
Okay. So tell me who you are. A little bit about your journey, a little bit about your coaching and yoga.
So I was working in corporate in Chicago. I'm from the US. I'm born and raised in Chicago and just was following the path laid out for me. That was, okay, you go to school and then you get a good job and then you get the apartment and then you get the this and you get married and you have the kids. And I was working in my job and I was like, I don't really want this path for me. I feel like this was chosen for me, but I don't really want this.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, what are other ways? What can I do? And I was really stuck because that was the only thing that I had known.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking to my sister. I was like, I'm so miserable. What do I do? And I laughed because she's like, you can do anything.
Oh.
And I was like, what do you mean I can do anything?
Yeah.
It was just such a mind-blowing thing to me because I was like, no, I must be in corporate and I must do this. But I love traveling. And I had some friends who were teaching English. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do that. Maybe I'll get my teaching English as a second language certification and then I'll go use it and I'll travel. I'll see if I like teaching and I'll see if I want to get a master's in teaching.
Yeah.
That was my thought process. So I got my teaching English as a second language certification and I was geared up, ready to go to Thailand and I wanted to get my yoga certification. So I went to Bali and then the last day of my yoga certification was when COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
And so I had a choice. I was like, oh my gosh.
So that was 2020 something
That was
like...
2020, March of 2020. And I had been planning this for so long. I was so ready to leave my job. I got this certification. I was planning all of this. And so it was only a month in of my travels. And I was like, but I don't want to go back. I've been planning this for so long. This was supposed to be the Eat, Pray, Love adventure.
Oh, yeah, right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay. And that's where the magic started unfolding because it was almost like my whole world expanded of there's so much you can do out there. So I started learning marketing. I started learning website design. I started learning energy healing and coaching and just changing the brain because I was so miserable in Chicago.
What did you change in your brain to be so okay, coaching, marketing, because before you weren't interested in that. You weren't back at home in Chicago thinking the same way.
Yeah, I was quite miserable in just my body and myself, but I was always really interested in coaching for some reason. I was like, I love connecting with people on a deeper level. And I think just being in a new environment around new people who this wasn't really obscure to them, they were like, yeah, of course, learn marketing, learn coaching, versus people just in sales or just in corporate. It felt like the world expanded a little bit and I was like, oh, yeah, I could do this. This is really cool. I'm really interested in this. And there were so many certifications for coaching and energy healing there. And by a stroke of luck, I ended up living with a woman who is a psychotherapist and I was in lockdown with her for 9 months. And we would just have these grandiose, abstract conversations about life and about me. And it was the first time that I really felt like I could put everything out there to someone and have it be received in a way where she could communicate back to me.
Oh, wow.
And that was really healing. And I was like, wow, I want to provide this for other people because I noticed my transformation. I noticed that I wasn't being so hard on myself, that I actually started liking my body, that I started creating new connections, that I started being more aware of things. And so that's ultimately what I wanted to share and what I wanted to create. And basically I made this program for me, old me who was really, really stuck and you know, didn't know how to really truly be in a relationship. Like I was dating people, but I was dating people to get validation. I wasn't dating people because I loved myself and I wanted to share life. It was like I needed their validation, and the relationships
Come tell me I'm beautiful.
Yes, like the relationships felt so stuck, and like it felt like a weird game that I was playing, not this like authentic self. And I was working out because I felt like I needed to have a good body, and I was like this drill sergeant versus like doing it because I love moving.
Such a difference.
Such a difference. And so, yeah, I think I made this program, like all of the things that I learned, I really felt the shift, and I created it for the old version of me. And I think like after I created it, I was like, oh, now I have to do the marketing and sales of it.
But let's go back a little bit to the Bali and living together with this psychotherapist. I think it's the beauty of the locations, which is Bali is one location. I think Rishikesh in India could be another one. Like Atitlan is another one, because here are the Eagle's Nest people, and just San Marcos is the same. Like you will find healers, you will find coaches.
Yes.
So you will end up living with some of these people, and just by sharing the time and space, like you said, it's just normal. Like when you say like, okay, I created a course, it's not like, what? It's just like, yeah, that's a normal thing that we do. Oh, I have to learn marketing. Well, yeah, that is the logical next step. If you haven't learned it before, that is the step, yes, because you understand like step by step, okay, I have to sell it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that go?
You know, it was so interesting because being in Bali, it is this magical place. Like you can just feel the magic. I mean, there's so many people there constantly like doing blessings and prayers and in this beautiful outfit. And so being there, I started to notice all of these synchronicities of I was meeting the right people, I was learning the right things, and everything just started doing this snowball effect when I was aware of it. So it's so funny looking back on the journey, because it was like I met this guy who wanted to help me with marketing and wanted to help me with websites, and then taught me social media, and I was doing a little bit of work for him. And then I met this girl who had this really big course that she was launching, and then she gave me a course for free on how to build a course. Like it was just all these things that started aligning, and I just kept meeting the right people and learning the lessons and like going forward and
Did you ever get scared that it's too good to be true? This like alignment and meeting the right people that you need?
Yes. I think there's always like a little bit of fear, and like a part of my story is that there's fear that like the shoe's gonna drop. That like, okay, this is all good, but then like shit's gonna hit the fan. So part of what I had to learn was how to really just be present and soak it in, and like not have fear run the show, because all of these beautiful things were happening and unfolding before me. And there was this like little voice that was trying to sabotage and be like, well, but you're still not making X amount a month, or like, well, you're still not successful. And it was like, okay, shush back there. Like we're learning all the things. And I think that's so interesting, because I just noticed the brain, and now I can be so aware of like what the voice is saying. But I think it's so easy to just be like, okay, well, I have this, this, and this, but I don't have this.
It. Yeah, you have like a pile of really good things, and then it's like tiny thing, which is not great or perfect, and you're like, oh, and your focus goes.
Yes.
Little shit.
Yes, and that's been such a mindfulness practice of me. Even being here, it's like when I teach yoga, people are like, oh my goodness, you teach here? This is absolutely incredible. And I have to remind the brain, like, yeah, wow, this is amazing. Like all of the little worries and stresses that I have, like those don't actually matter. Like look at the abundance that's right in front of me. So yeah, I think there's always fear. Even when life is going absolutely incredible, it's how do you manage the fear? How do you make friends with the fear so it doesn't run the show? Yeah. And that's been
it's a daily practice.
It's always a practice.
Yeah.
Always a practice.
Okay, so now you have built your course, correct? And then you also coach privately? You have your private clients?
Yeah, so I built all of these modules out of like the biggest lessons that I've learned, and like the biggest frameworks and different techniques that I've used that really truly helped me shift. And I put that in videos, and I give the videos to my clients, and then we have group coaching calls every week that we talk about, or we have one-on-one sessions as well. So it's been really helpful to see the clients using the work too in their lives, and it's been super fulfilling to do it. So yeah, it's just like you put all your effort into creation and then seeing it come to fruition, you're like, whoa, my baby, it's growing.
Yeah, right. Okay. What could be the one thing that could help you today in this conversation? Just maybe talk it through or ask a question or...
I think what's been interesting for me is that I've created this from this place of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share what's worked for me. And then meeting the reality of, okay, so how do you get this to more people? And I know that you're in this world of like getting it out to the world and using the messaging and things like that. And so it's been interesting trying. I feel like there's two little worlds, right? Like there's this spiritual world of like abundance and just be yourself and like you'll attract the right people. And I truly believe that. But then I also am grounded to know like there's a strategy as well, right? So like how do you combine the two? And I'm really trying to figure out how do I box this up and message it and put a message on it so that people are like, oh yeah, I want this. Because it's come from a place like deep within me, and now it's like I don't know the words to express it to get people interested in what I'm offering, you know?
Okay. Okay, let's do a deep dive, sort of, kind of. Close your eyes.
Okay.
And go back to the place in corporate world, the place where you remember where you were saying to your sister that you don't want this anymore. So describe your life, who you were then, what you were feeling, and what were your daily thoughts most often.
So it felt like my life revolved around this job that I hated. So I would wake up, I would make breakfast, I would pack my lunch, I'd take the train or the bus to work, sit there for 8 hours, just not really enjoying, feeling so disconnected, literally trying to pass the time in any way that I could. I'd rush to the gym, I'd go home and make dinner, and I would just do it all again. And so I had this moment of like, is this all that my life is? Is just revolving around this thing that I don't even feel aligned or connected to? Like my life just feels, I'm living, but I don't feel alive.
And what the feelings that like, okay, you woke up, you packed your lunch, like with what feeling did you wake up?
I was just like frustrated, like, ugh, another day. Like, I don't really want to do this. Tired, just kind of like on edge at all times. Disconnected from my body, from myself. Going through the motions of the day. Okay,
and then like if you're looking from where you are now and you would have to speak to that person, it's very far, right? Correct.
Yeah.
You would like, even I, like when I tap into your energy there, and I imagine someone knocking on the door before you like go out with your lunchbox, and it's like, hey, one day you can live in Guatemala, in Antigua. You could just like punch that person in the face, right?
I would be like,
what?
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, like why are you ruining my day? It was so bad, and now you just like with your something Guatemala picture, you're making it even worse, right?
Yeah.
It will be just like spit in the face. Yeah, but then close your eyes again and imagine from this place if you had to go back and like how would you tell the person, like not that the Guatemala is the thing, but to change something, to go for that, but you know, in a nice way, in a soft way that can also be like, oh wow, this is maybe possible for me.
I just remember being really, really afraid and fearful, and I don't know what, I think I was just afraid of being more miserable than I already was because I put so much into like, okay, well I know I need to make a change. And so I just needed someone to remind me, like, you're gonna be okay. Whatever decision you make, like, you're going to be okay. You're never stuck. Like, and actually, I remember I bought my sister this this session with this aura psychic healer, and she did a session on me before I left, and she said, leap and the net will appear. And that really resonated with me of like, okay, I just have to do it. Like, I don't need to be afraid because the net will appear. All I need to do is jump. And so I want to be that person to other people of like, I got you, you're supported, here's the net, let's do the thing, you know?
Okay, beautiful. So imagine now, because we're talking about, that's what you're saying, the strategy, right? The 2023, soon to be 2024. So imagine that you would be speaking to yourself and you had to make 5 types of content today. What would you like? Because it can't be like, hey, I'm in my dream life in Guatemala. Like, no, like hell no. Like I don't even want to see that. Like it makes me like me going on a train with my packed lunch to my disgusting job makes me like just throw up when I see you in Guatemala. You know, it can be like this is why people follow and unfollow, because it triggers a lot. Like these things that when you're fulfilling your dreams, and then you know like but they come back after a while. But what could be like that? Let's think of the soft way. Like if you had to create like 5 types of maybe a video, maybe a post, maybe something inspirational, something kind of a teaching, like just from like now, what would you create?
Yeah, I think it would be speaking to them more instead of showboating.
Speak to yourself. Like imagine speaking to yourself, because you were in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Like what would you?
I think it would be, if I were to tell myself, yeah, you can create your dream life, it'd be like, okay. So it's like, okay, right? Here are some steps you can take right now when you're not feeling fulfilled. Okay. And like give some little steps that feel tangible that you can do and start to incorporate in your life.
Okay. And what would, like, tell me maybe 3 steps.
Okay, so something like doing something like a journal, like some journal prompts of like, okay, like let's actually visualize your life of what you want it to be, and then give yourself permission that that's actually possible. Okay. And like maybe I'm that person for people that's giving them the permission, because I know that it's possible on the other side. So
also, maybe like a post or a video is like, this is your permission to dream as big as you can. Yeah. Like post your vision in the comments, because this could be something.
I need to write that down.
Well, you'll have it in the video. No, but that's true, because you see there are those posts, and it is sometimes. It might sound silly, and for some it might sound like, oh well, but it doesn't work that way. It's not about working, but at that moment you might trigger someone, and they might actually, because the question is gonna be asked, right? You will have asked the questions like, hey, this is your permission to create your dream life. So, like, let's do it together. Comment below. And then you can actually also start a conversation when people write something, and then you can ask a couple more questions to clarify them. And believe me, there's going to be one person who's going to be like, oh, okay, I didn't know this is so easy. I'm going to go and do this. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Okay. So that could be one. What else there could be?
I think I was so focused on the negative. Like 95% of my thoughts were really, really negative. And so shifting people to that positive of like, okay, tell me some things that you like about yourself. Tell me some things that you like about your current life.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can be like really frustrated with your job and everything is so bad, but then you actually, when you focus, when you're like, okay, shift. And even like a post, like a video, 1, 2, 3, 4, tell me 3 things that are great, that are great today. Okay. Good.
And I also think that I was really lost and confused. Like I literally thought my only opportunity was either to stay in corporate, or I was like, either I stay in corporate and find a job, or I'm a server at a restaurant. I got really excited about being a server at a restaurant, but I just want to give people the opportunity and like to show them that there's more to life, there's more to the world. Like, of course, be a server or be in corporate, like no harm to that, but showing like all the different opportunities of things that are available.
Yeah. But this is also something that where you can create a video with, hey, this if corporate is not for you, here are the other options, and give like 10 different, something that it could be. Especially, I'm always like, hey, you are a native speaker. You can do the certificate and go and teach anywhere in the world. Even for me as a non-native speaker, it was possible. For you, it's much more easier, guys, because of the passports as well. And that is an option as well. Maybe some people don't want to travel. So what are their options? And just give that, and it might also open up doors, and it could be good. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because when I started traveling, I came from a small place. It was just like, you could become a nurse, a shop assistant, a teacher, policeman, something like a firefighter. And I went in the world, and there were people who were into movies, like they're doing something with a film direction. I was like, oh wow, they're professional gardeners, things like that. Even things like that. I was like, oh wow. So it was also for me, because I communicated with people.
Yes.
And maybe they don't have that. They have only these 5 people around who are, like you were saying, a server or corporate. And you didn't see the other hundreds and thousands of options that are there.
There's so much. There's so many doors. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be also when you're here at the Eagle's Nest and you meet someone who's in a really cool job, just being like, hey, like let's do like a 20-second video. Like tell me what you do.
Yeah. That's really good. I mean, so I have 2 channels. I have my travel Instagram, and then I created another one for the mindfulness, and I wasn't really sure, like, do I combine the 2? Do I keep them separate? I don't know what your first initial thoughts are.
Do you spend enough time on both, so they're both like coming really into fruition?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say I'm posting a lot more on the new one, just like the more mindfulness one. And then like the travel one's been more like travel tips.
Okay.
But I
Where's
feel
your
like
heart?
That's a good question. I feel like I'm more energetically creative about the new one. Even though it doesn't have as many people, it's still, I feel like I'm able to like put interesting content out there, whereas like the other one, there's so many people that I know that I'm like, okay, well, what do I put?
Okay, because you can always, what I do in mine, I will have the video from traveling, somewhere here on a lake or wherever, whatever I do, or even like doing yoga, but then I will do the captions or some description about the topic that we're talking about something that is actual today, that's something that someone asked, or a review. But that, because traveling is a part of me. I was talking to my VIP client today, who's a financial coach, and then I was saying, like, if I go to you and you tell me to budget everything and this, and there's no travel included, I'm like, bye, like never see you again, because travel is such it's the core value of mine, because it's not about travel, it's a lot of mindfulness, it's where I learned myself, it's about conscious awareness of the world, of myself, and everything, so it's totally combined together, and you can just be very like nice, show the nice places, but talk about mindfulness, show the place where you live, but talk about the 3 tips of how to stay positive today or practice more positivity.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just I feel like I'm allowing myself to do that on the new one, versus the other one kind of is turned into just like a more personal thing of like what's happening.
But also the underthought there is that they're going to judge you if you're not too sure about posting this like your newness. And then, so what you can practice for yourself is like, everyone is supporting me. There's this visualization that you can imagine you are standing in your town, because that's the most scariest thing.
Yes.
On the stage, somewhere in your town, and everyone is there to celebrate you. And to be like, wow, Nikki, thank you for doing this. And like, you brought so much joy. You're such a treasure. Thank you for this. And it's usually very, very difficult to visualize and to sit with it, because it's so uncomfortable. Because you think about all the judgment that is in your head and probably not in others' heads.
But you know what's so interesting is, so after 3 years, I went home. And, I thought I was going to run into people who were just like not supporting. And I just got so much love and support of like, oh my gosh, I love your new perspective. I love how you think about things. Thank you so much for sharing all this. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and this is where you haven't taken your new self. Like, you're still like partly here with the old one. Oh, they're going to judge me. but actually, no, they're supporting you already. And it's just your thought that they might judge me. And it's like, no, they're supporting me. I was once on a beach and I like dancing, so I went for a cold swim and I came out and it was cold and I was like, oh, I could dance, but like if someone sees me and I'm like, oh, this thought, I'm like, if someone sees me and if they join this and if this is an opportunity for them to do the same, like remember our static dance?
Yeah.
I always challenge myself to shake my ass in front of other people, and especially like if I go alone, actually, I don't mind because I see those people for the first time and for the last time.
Yeah.
Like whatever, I can twerk. But if I'm there with my fiance, with our newly made friends who are also there on honeymoon, I'm like, and I'm just gonna shake my half naked ass there. But then you have to know, like, no, I want to be free. Like in myself, I want to be free.
Yeah.
And this is what I present for myself and for my followers, for my audience, anyways, like I didn't film it, I didn't show it, but for me it's important because I know I can go and do it wherever I want my now and do it. Yeah. But it's the freedom within me that I got there, you know, because I practice it. So it's my thought versus my new thought, you know.
Totally. It's embodying what I teach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll post on both and just try it out and see how it feels and see how the content feels. And
But if at any point it takes too much time and you feel you're not doing the quality work on both, just join them. Just say like, hey, I'm closing this account. Please, if you like this, come to my like one account, and there's that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, exciting. That was some really good pointers of like what to post for my old self.
Yeah, and you can also make that into a story. You know what? I used to think that nobody's going to support me, but I went back home and I met ABC and they were saying, I like your content, I like your perspective, I like your this. And then I'm so grateful that I believed in myself that and actually did this.
Yeah.
Because imagine like going back now to that, what you said about the corporate, and if you had never done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a waste, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
And what do you think of like, in which point, so you see your old self, at which point the course that you have created, where would it come in really handy? Because maybe like we're saying, like you have your packed lunch, you're on a train, and I'm like, hey, I have the course. Would it be already then, or?
I think I knew that I needed like a whole life tune-up. And if someone were to come to me and be like, look, I can help you in all of these areas of your life, and we're just going to like level you up, elevate you, and have this big glow up, and I'm going to teach you how to love yourself and be better in relationships and like just enhance your life, I would have been like, please give me more.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you here because it's going to be really useful for your posts. So this is how you speak to your audience. I'm like, do you want to level up your life? Do you want more self-love? The things that you just said, you'll watch the replay. you'll be able to write them down. But this is how you speak because this is what you feel like, okay, I needed those words and I needed someone to ask me these questions. You weren't the one going and seeking, because you know sometimes as a content creator we're like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready for my clients, but we actually have to offer.
Yeah.
Because
and I think
you see, without the offer you wouldn't have come to someone.
And I think what we've talked about before of like the clients, like build your business and do clients, I think that's the next step, right? So it's like, the first phase is let's just do like a whole life tune-up. Yeah. And then once you're there, then we can talk about building a business or whatever it is.
Definitely.
But I needed, I didn't know I was so lost. I was like, who can help me find more love? Like I was like following self-love influencers. I was following, but it was never like, okay, someone to just come in and just let's teach you all the things so that you can up level a little bit and like glow in all areas. And then you can
decide, okay, when you have that confidence, well, actually, I might want to go and do a coaching certificate, or I might want to go and live in Guatemala.
Yes.
Because at that train with your lunchbox, like, let's go and live in Guatemala.
No. Exactly. So it's the point where there's a knowing that I needed change and that I knew that I couldn't keep living like this. So it's like kind of that catalyst point of like, I know I need to do something different, but I don't know what. And then boom, the offer comes in and it's like this.
So you see, as a content creator, you will have the little things you share at the beginning, like you said, like how to improve your day, maybe in 3 steps, what has happened great today. So these are like little drops. You drop, and then you drop the, hey, do you want to be serious about the self-love? Here's my course. Again, you drop the really good things, like just always keep in mind that old self, like what would she need today on the train?
I want to come up with something about the messaging of just like this. Like, I know we said there needs to be an outcome. So what would you say the outcome would be if it's kind of just like, like a tune-up of everything.
Yeah,
like just
confidence, self-love.
Confidence, self-love.
Yeah, but when you're
that tangible, you think?
So it's not tangible, but people will buy it. I've sold it many times because confidence is the one thing that you want. But then you can confidence to quit your job, very tangible. Confidence to start traveling, because many people they have savings, or they can create savings in a short time if they work in the corporate. And then if you tell them like, okay, actually you don't need that much to go 6 months abroad, it's going to be like, okay, I help you to gain confidence, to quit your job and to start traveling.
Maybe it's like, the confidence to like live your dream life. Or
but that's also like a little bit, you see, untangible, but you can twist and tweak that one. But confidence for something. And if you feel that a lot of your audience, because they are following you because you are here, right? Because you're doing something out of that corporate, out of that serving somewhere where you thought it's you have to be for your life. So the confidence to quit the job that you don't like and to start, living your dream life could be good. But then when you also describe, when you describe the course, that could be like, that's a nice like flashy name for it.
The confidence to quit your job?
Confidence to quit your job and start your dream life. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because that would attract many people. It would, for me, it wouldn't attract because I don't have a job, but I run a business. But you would be like, for example, for me, like run your business and live your dream life. That's also, many people run their businesses, many people live their dream lives, but not many run their business and live their dream life.
That could be phase 2. That's the next course.
Yeah, that's the next.
So the first course is like, let's quit your job and like let you find yourself. The next one is let's build your business so that you live your dream life.
Yeah. Because it will attract, and then when you write the description or the sales page of the course, then you put in like, in the reviews, the people that have come to you, they will tell you what is the outcome. So what is the outcome of the people you have?
I mean, when I did this the first couple times, I mean, I had people be like, everyone needs to take this. This is just fundamental in feeling amazing about your life, getting more confidence, getting more clarity, feeling more connected to themselves. In return, like this one girl got her dream job and she's living out in LA now.
Okay, and that is very like, so I took the course and now I'm living my dream life, working the job that I really love in LA.
Yeah.
And that is the tangible, and it's going to be very different for different people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah? I think that's the thing, is that there's so many people out there that are like, you will get this. And with me, it kind of feels like I can help you get whatever the thing is that you want, but that's hard to market.
It's not hard to market that dream life, but then when you, in the description and also when you advertise, use the reviews that people give you, use the references, and that is going to be the answer of the tangible.
Okay.
And also for those who are like, well, my life improved, ask them what improved on a daily basis. I do these mini interviews with everyone who is around me, even with my fiance. I'm like, how did your life improve when we started dating? Because first I asked the wrong question. I was like, what changed? And he's like, no, not the good question. I was like, no, okay, on a daily basis, what changed? And he was like, well, I'm at peace. I love being at home. It's like, it's cozy, it's harmonious. And that's when you're like, okay, you see, it's not tangible, but it is. Like sense of harmony at home, like I can't touch it, but I know what it is, right? And it can be very different for different people. For me, it's maybe calm music, candles, and something, and a cooked dinner. For others, it's gonna be laying down on the couch and watching a romantic movie, you know? So that tangible part is different, but yeah, and also you can just create the feelings, like, because what is like living your dream life? You're living part of your dream life now, right?
Totally.
So tell me.
I think it's freedom.
Okay.
It's pure freedom. Like, I wake up and I'm like, I wake up without an alarm. Like,
and this is such a great point, because like, tell me, like, everyone who is watching, like, how many can raise their hands up and it's like, I wake up without an alarm. Like,
I wake up when I want, and I go meditate, and I feel no pressure. Like, there's no pressure to like be at work at this time, or like when I do have a meeting, I'm like, I have a meeting because I chose to have a meeting.
Yeah, because you wanted.
And so that's why I was thinking I wanted to call it like Freedom Fast Track or something.
Yeah,
or like,
it's a really good name as well.
Like, because I'm really offering freedom of your mind, freedom to not be trapped.
But
like,
you see, the
stuck.
tangible is like you're waking up without, imagine yourself waking up without the alarm clock, going on a beautiful deck to meditate with a lake view, ocean view, whatever view. Then you have your breakfast with your friends or something. Then you go and have the client call. And this is all, it is tangible, because you're not living intangible life, right? Like you can...
So maybe it is like the tangible thing is like helping people quit and find something that feels fulfilling for them. Finding a job.
Finding what really lights them up.
Yeah, finding work that lights you up, or finding, I don't like the word work because it doesn't feel like work, but finding a life that lights you up.
Yeah, and your foundation is like, okay, I'm getting ready for this, the course that you have created, because you will learn the self-love, you will learn other tools that are helpful on a daily basis, and then when you're ready, you're like, okay, the next step is like, okay, I quit that, and I go that direction, and I maybe start traveling, or I go to LA, I move, you know, from one state to another, which can, it's going to be different for each person.
Yeah.
Okay,
that gives
feeling
me
good?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of clarity. Thank you.
High five.